And good morning, everyone. Whether you're watching us live or on the rerun, we appreciate you. Leave us comments. We're going to talk for about an hour, and then I'm going to let you go about your day. Happy Hump Day, everyone. We'll see you very, very soon. There it is.
Seconds.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
How dare you!
Welcome to NEVERMIND the Furthermore, your morning dose of creative conversation and coffee with your host, Brian K. Morris, independent publisher, freelance hybrid author, award-winning playwright, Facebook famous YouTuber, and former mortician's assistant. Get ready to start your day off right.
And good morning, everyone. How the heck are you? Welcome to the Wednesday, May 11th, 2022 edition of NEVERMIND the Furthermore, the interactive creative conversation show where you type it in, I read it, we have a conversation that way. And yes, we are here live with StreamYard. It's a great service, and even the free level gives you a whole bunch of toys to play with. We definitely recommend it. Go to StreamYard.com for more information. And we also have a attitude of gratitude to get to, and part of it involves Rising Tide Publications, which are sponsoring this show. Thank you, Rising Tide Publications. And also Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. An amazing book deserves an amazing cover, and that's just what Jeffrey Hayes can deliver to you when you contact him at plasmafiregraphics.com. First of all, go to the Plasma Fire Graphics Facebook page, check out the great work that's there, and then go over to plasmafiregraphics.com and ask for his rate card. You'll be pleased with his indie creator-friendly pricing. Believe me, he does not only book covers, comic book covers, he also does all the graphics you'll need to sell your work on social media, including book trailers. They're beautiful stuff. He does mine. He can do yours. Contact him today. That's Jeffrey Hayes at plasmafiregraphics.com. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you, because it definitely matters to your readers. And also, we want to thank our Patreon subscribers who keep the Rising Tide mission rolling. And we're ever so grateful for them. And tomorrow they're going to get a brand new blog with more about my travels through Chicago, actually Lombard, Illinois, at the Windy City Pulp and Paper Convention last weekend. And this weekend we talk about the next one. We talk more about what we ate than what we got or anything else. But anyway, it was a great weekend, and they're going to find out more about it in the exclusive blog. Every blog deserves a name. That'll be dropping tomorrow. It's twice weekly, and you can get it only if you are a Patreon subscriber, even at $1 a month, rather. We'll get you that blog, so please check us out. And your name can go on this card, too, at www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. Check us out, all right? Anyway, yes, we're going to have to cut this off at the top of the hour today because you know that you window where you call a service person and they say, okay, we'll be there between Monday and 200 days from now, sort of thing. Well, actually, we are going to get our annual air conditioning checkup. We think it's today. We can't find the date, but we're sure it's either this week or next. And if it's today, next week we get a longer show. But anyway, we are going to be cutting it off around 11. I do have my phone here. So if anything, everybody calls me, I will have to take that call. So just be alerted to that. So anyway, let's get to your comments as fast as we can. Nicholas Tockard, good to see you, my friend. Good morning to you. And as it is Wednesday morning, and he tends to get hoppy, let's hit it hard and fast with the Nevermind, the Furthermore pre-show. Sound off of the comments for all you new folks, and great to the usual suspects that rattle in. But enough of that prattle. Accountability. Nick's been working his bum off, playtesting mechanics for the project for Telepathic Bunny and Bunny Lord. Buddy Lord, I like that. That sounds intriguing. Then after that, I'll be taking a brief moratorium from contract work to knock out my own WIPs, kind of like what I'm doing right now. Very, very cool, Nick. And speaking of question, what project have you been putting off? The only one I'm putting off is an expanded pitch for a book I'm doing for someone. I hope to be doing at least. And but I'm only putting that off to get an article done 2 months ahead of schedule. So that's pretty good. Anyway, but let's answer Nick's question. But first, let's see Carl Wisman. Hey there, folks. We have the guests coming later, so my time will be limited. Says Carl Wisman. We're glad to have you here at all, Carl. Nick, I've been putting off nothing. My next project needs more time to marinate in my head. Now I have to run downstairs and clean a bit while waiting for the great BKM. Is there another BKM around here? I never see that other guy. And morning, Carl, and good luck. Wednesday is traditionally garbage day in these parts, so I am running in and out. But, folks, by the time BKM reads this, he is going to need to remind you to hit the like, subscribe, and share this to all the creatives you know. Also, sign up for his monthly newsletter. Thank you, Nick. That's at risingtide.pub. Check it out. And we also have a lot of our books, links to our books for sale, including the recently released, he said, not knowing where he was going. So, recently released, The New Adventures of the Blue Circle from Prose Press and from Stormgate Press. Major Marjorie with 5 futuristic tales from the far-flung future of 1942 by creator Tim Bruckner, Clyde Hall, Jim Beard, Alessia Kent, and myself, edited by Charles F. Milhouse, who is continuing to heal his knees right now. But anyway, check those books out and go to risingtide.pub and you will see where all my stuff is. All right. And God knows you need to look at my stuff. So anyway, let's see. We got that. And thank you, Nick. And Carl in the thumbnail, Catwoman is checking out. Brian's behind. Brian liked that. That was from superhero. That was from the Superman celebration one year. And that was my friend Misty. And she was distracting me very nicely while I was on stage. We did 4 of them. And they were a hero history, and we illustrated points by using cosplayers, and it was a lot of fun. It was a great, great time. And good morning to you, my darling Sarah. Mwah! Hope you're doing well. I think it's morning anyway. Yep. And oh my God, Carl, you're right, says Sarah. And to Ninja Genko, good morning to you. Good morning to everyone. And Nick Tockard, have you seen Brian? I mean, hey, no one blames you, Selena. I know, tasty piece of man candy that I am, you know. But anyway, Catwoman is happily married. She is Emma Peel to someone's John Steed. So, and Sarah, and is she thinking not bad, or what? Oh, yeah. And morning, Sarah, and the Ninja, and good morning to Joe D. McPhee from the Desk of a Small Press Publisher every Saturday night at 10 p.m. Please check that out. Morning, Desk. You were right, Sarah. That is fun. And morning, Brian. Hope it's all with you and Madam Executive Producer. Everything is coming up roses, and we are happy. Since we met, the lawn got mowed. That was necessary. And worked on the van yesterday, cleaning it up from the weekend. Because we kind of like threw our crap in the back and just never. We pulled out our dirty laundry and the books, and that's about all we got done. But did some preliminary testing on alternate sleeping arrangements in there, just because we've got a thing on Saturday the 22nd, I believe it is, but it is the 22nd of this month, where we're going to be back at in Carbondale, Illinois, for the Greyhawk Gaming Guild. And we're going to be doing a little appearance with them, along with Santiago Cirillo and a whole bunch of other cool people. Brad Moore, great record cover artist. He's incredible. He's a great guy. And so, guys, how goes the creative journey? Nick Tockard, it's going well. I'm working on an article from my misspent youth, so it's coming along so far. And from this was Small Press Publisher. As for me, I sent issue number 7 to my editor this morning. Yes, moving closer to having printed proof around the launch of the campaign. Excellent, Joe. Excellent. And it left Nick Tucker constantly moving. Yeah. That is Carl Witzman says that's great, Joe D. I agree completely. That is pretty awesome. And Nick Tucker and Sarah's like Montgomery J. Spot with hello computer. Or is that hello nurse? Anyway, hello. And hello, Skunkrocker. Mwah. Glad to see you, my friend. Everyone's saying hello. And Sarah says, just pop back into the chat. Agreed, Carl. I think she wants to lick the spine from tailbone to neck. Oh, man. Never mind. Anyway, Nick Tucker in the morning. Skunk How goes live as the Fast and the Floofy. And Nick Tucker says, Glenn Fleming, I've been putting off releasing Hatch number 2. It's been ready since before Christmas. Meaning my Kirby book and Phil pushed it to the back burner, but now I'm on it. What do you mean? This book here, Glenn? Look at that editing. Good Lord. This is like edit porn, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's also Jack Kirby, Personal Journey, Words and Pictures, where the great man Glenn Fleming himself got to visit the king of comics. You name a comic book, he either worked on it or he influenced it. So check it out. Check it out. It's available right now on Indie on Indiegogo. And dang, Sarah, not arguing with that. Sure, make BKM's day. Yeah. It does. Glenn! Sarah! And incredible Glenn. Sarah! And everyone's hello. An innocent grin my ass, Sarah. Sarah. And Glenn Fleming is onto your trickery, too. And hey, everyone. And Glenn just finished Comics Unlimited number 9. Out in a few days. Excellent, excellent. Great magazine. Check that out. Available on Amazon. So, the angel on BKM's shoulder, says Nick Tucker, looks like Glenn. And the devil looks like Sarah. Gotcha. He is still going to do whatever Cookie tells him, though. Most of the time, maybe. And awesome, says Sarah. Yes, you're one of the voices in my head, Sarah. Enjoy the rent-free space. And great Glenn. And haha, says Glenn. And I put on my like early so I won't have to remember when my guest comes and I have to run away. And we're already talking about toys to play with. Gosh, Sarah, what kind of toys could you be thinking about? Anyway, Sarah says, oh my. And Sarah's being naughty again. We love her for it. And good morning to Radio Retro Future. Please check out that amazing YouTube page and please subscribe to it. And didn't get a notification of the show this AM. Sorry, John. I apologize. And hey, other friends and foes, happy new comics day. Jumpy Bike, always a pleasure to see you. Check out Back of the Cereal Box channel on YouTube because it's amazing, and working on the final chapters of the next book. That is super. Glad to hear that, Bonsart. And Grant Lankard, good news. Oh, I'm here. Well, we can all go home now. Grant's going to take over. We'll see you guys. Anyway, no, good to see you, Grant, as always. And messages received will be open soon to respond as an FYI. Sounds good, Sarah. And this week is a huge week for comics. I may have to take out a second mortgage on my house. I better look that up. What is in my future? Let's see here. My comics, gotta re-up. We subscribe to leagueofcomicgeeks.com where you can check out what is going to be released and when. And I've only got 2 books, it looks like. The Joneses and Son of Kal-El number 11, which I've already heard good things about. But let's see what else is available today. And that's fine. X-Men, Wonder Woman, Moon Knight, crossover. There's going to be Batman books. I probably should wait till you're sitting down. Hulk versus Thor, Banner of War, Alpha number 1, Jurassic League, where the Justice League of America are done up to look like prehistoric animals. Mighty Morphin, Justice League and the League of Superheroes, only out to number 3. Wow. What if Miles Morales became different heroes? Shang-Chi, 7 Secrets, Farmhand, Naomi Season 2, number 3, G.I. Joe Real American Hero, Immortal Red Sonja, Mirror War Star Trek, Bunny Mask, and Lady Mechanica, the Monster of the Ministry of Hell, number 4, Red Room, number 3, leave that out for the kids. I'll call Protective Services on you. The Loaded Bible, that sounds interesting. The Department of Truth, number 1, as an Image First. That was a good book. 2001 AD, 22 number 2281. That's pretty awesome. And Archie meets Riverdale. It's a crossover of the classic Archie with the Archie characters from the TV show. I'll have to look for that. Super Suckers binge book, Mirror number 1. Okay, well, whatever that is, that looks pretty interesting. And from Set Comics, Gold Digger, and Archie New Kids Off the Wall, Paradise Towers, no relation to the Doctor Who show, and Voyage into Mayhem. That's Black Phoenix number 10. That looks pretty interesting. But anyway, please go to your local comic book shop today and check out what they got. I'm looking forward to my trip. And Grant Lankard says, I have the day off, but I haven't seen my buddies at Nevermind the Furthermore in weeks. Well, we've been waiting for you, Grant. I hope you have been spending your time profitably. And I'm still waiting to get my delivery first off the truck. They always say delivery will be between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. They arrive at 7:55 p.m. every time. Who gets theirs before me? Darn them. Darn them to heck. And my next project is my ongoing project, Tales of the Decoverse, at Amazon.com/author/John Pica. Definitely check it out. And check out johnpica.com for all this amazing man does. And speaking of amazing man, Adrian Johnson, always a pleasure to see you. Hope your morning's going well. Looking forward to seeing you at Heroes for Kids Con. And John Pica back in the Cereal Box at backoftheCerealBox.fun. And Rail Retrofuture did a writing challenge for our community using that input to pump out blogs on how to write short stories for the Association of Ishtar. Check out the Association of Ishtar webpage. That has got hours and hours of fascinating reading. You will dig it. And John Pike and all the other stuff I'm into at johnpica.com. There we go. And sadly, I don't think I'm going to make it in Metropolis this year. John, why not, man? And maybe Saturday. Well, the way things look now, we're going to be there at least Friday, maybe Thursday. But we'll be there all day Friday, but we're going to have to leave sometime on Saturday, unfortunately, because we've got a show in Northwest Ohio, a pulp show that we've been wanting to get into. And that's going to be, we'll have more information on my website, on my sites, as soon as we get that done, as soon as we get that lined up. But yeah, we're probably going to be leaving sometime Saturday afternoon. Hope to run into you, Johnny. I really do, man. And we know who that means. It's the one, the only Eric Hawkins. No, I'm not allergic. Excuse me, I am allergic to Eric Hawkins. Anyway. Congratulations, Eric Hawkins, for raising over $7,000 in your recent Kickstarter. God bless you. You did great, man. And by the way, speaking of, he's getting closer and closer, but man, he needs some more help. And that's Zombie for World of Oz. That's the address you wish you'd gone to. But Nebulizer number 2 by Brian Rodman, that still needs a few $100s, about $300 last I checked. Please make this book happen because Brian wants to read it. All right, and you will too. It's great entertainment. It is super stuff. You'll love it. And anyway, let's come back here. And Glenn Fleming says, everything's coming up roses, even though I planted daffodils. At least they're flowers and they smell good. And going into listening mode, lots to do. Back at you, honey. And John B. Pica says, Free Comic Book Day was awesome for me. I picked up the Battle of the Planets, Ken the Eagle Pop for free. Wow, that is cool. That is cool. I missed Free Comic Book Day. I was so busy at Windy City Pulp and Paper. And you know why. Anyway, I've shown that thing off enough. You guys got to be sick of it now. Anyway, John B. Pica says also the Cereal Box Network is still looking for new shows to join the network at cerealboxnetwork.com. Check it out. He's got some great programming there and get you a lot of attention. And Marvel Comics, don't know if you've noticed that since Kevin Feige took over, he is moving the comics and films to agree. I think this is a great move to make comics accessible to movie fans. I've been saying that since Superman the movie came out, that it mystified me that there wasn't a movie comic out. And granted, they have had things like Smallville and like that, and I know the rights can be a nightmare sometimes, but no, Kevin Feige is brilliant because, like, I was thinking specifically, like, when I saw the first X-Men film, I would have gone, if I had been like a civilian to this, I would have gone to my local comic shop or to any of the many more bookstores than there are now, and I'd have been looking for X-Men, but all I'd be seeing was the silly yellow, red, and blue spandex stuff and none of the leather. And these characters would have a history that I wasn't at all aware of, and it's like, that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, moving the comics in a direction that helps them more mirror the movies, I think is a great move. It's a great synergy move. So I agree with you, John. Totally agree. Now, if we could just get comics back on the newsstands. As soon as we get more newsstands, John, unfortunately, back in the 90s, the supermarkets, for instance, figured out that they would make more money with a special stand-up of, say, canned peas or streusel topping, whatever, than they would a rack of comic books that they'd have to maintain. It's, food and other items are lower maintenance, and they don't have to, have to manage them. They don't have to manage them. They don't have to worry about them, and they make more per square foot than anyone else. Now, I think Marvel needs to step up their publishing and put out monthly issues in Walmart and Target. That's where they need to be. And is Gold Digger Fred Perry's? Yes, Nick, it is. And he's still doing that book, I understand. And unfortunately, says John B. Pica, Allegiant Arts experiment with Walmart failed miserably. It was badly managed, John. And I admit I refuse to support it. Because if we're talking about the same one, because they used the money from their Kickstarter to get into Walmart, and that stinks. They didn't fulfill their pledges for a couple of years. So that's the one I'm thinking of. But yeah, I would like to see Marvel and DC put in, and make them non-returnable. Give Walmart the same privilege that comic shops have. You can have 20 copies, and if you don't sell them, trash them. Period. Then that makes fewer copies later on and may increase their collectability. Skunk Cracker says, I hope you're spending your time profitably. I mean, I'm working, if that's what you mean. Load up for my second trip of the day out of 3. Excellent, Skunk. Sounds like you're ahead of schedule. Oh, but it's going to be a long one. Anyway, Skunk, good luck to you, my floofy friend. Adrian, I'll be there to help out, so I hope to see you there as well. I promise I'm going to be there. Chances are Cookie will be with me, and we're going to have all kinds of fun stuff there. Scott Carter says, my next project is fixing the door handle of my pickup. It broke the other day. Oh, man. Yeah, I've got to fix one of the inside handles to my cargo van because it doesn't work. But we've got 3 other doors. Yeah, 3 other doors we can get out, so I'm not worried. And hey, good luck with that, Skunk. Yeah, seriously, Nick, I agree with that. Skunk, really. And I don't understand the implication. It's a car door handle. You can't screw this up. There's no luck involved. Oh, yeah. It's just like comic book writers and pulp writers. They wear out after a time. And A-Cup Creations, bonsoir, comment ça va? Oh, mon amour, moi, je t'aime. Good to see you, Keisha. Check out A-Cup Creations on YouTube. Subscribe to that channel. Check out our great broadcasts all over the place. And Rick Bradley, good morning, Nevermore. Good morning to you, superstar. And Rick Bradley says, check out my author page at that address there. You can sink your claws into the Nightmare Collective, eat some apple pie with Marvin's Night Out, bask in the glory of the award-winning Pulp Reality #1. I try to hide from the tales of the weird and strange. That's right. And also check out R&D Gaming on Monday night. I was going to tune in live and heckle you and Donovan, but I wound up getting a very important phone call from a friend of mine that was ailing. So unfortunately, I'll get it later. Scott Cracker, 3 screws, 3 bolts, 2 rods, and a plastic clip. It's literally going to take me like 10 minutes. Well, when you're done, would you come over and fix mine too? Nick Tucker says, Marvel resets the continuity regularly, so why not make the MCU canon? Seriously. There's more Earths than just 616, And I just hope Hybrid's eventual animation is in line with the comics. Well, the funny thing is there are people that can do animation off of their laptops now. Nick needs to look into that. Eric Hawkins, if we can get comics in Spencer's, we'll be set. Well, I do so. Send your hate mail to Eric at stonedoorstudios.com. Oh, God, yeah, and wow, I did not know that. It's true, Nick, it's true. And Gold Digger was formative back in the day. It still is, man. That and occasionally Antarctic Press puts out a Ninja High School something or other, and I've got an invitation to submit things to them too. So Ace Bonnie says Kara Nicole is part of an original sketch card Kickstarter. Has 2 days to go. Check it out. Check out Kara Nicole. I do every chance I get. Anyway, looking forward to that. And thank you, Ace Bonnie, for that link there. Appreciate that so much. Adrian says, catch you on the flip side. Got to get some sleep before work tonight. Sleep well, young man. Good to see you here, and give my love to your family. I'll be seeing you guys and gals soon. Nacuff, hope you all are doing well. I'm doing great, Keisha. I'm having one of the best weeks of my life. I really am. I'm still riding it until something happens. And I hope you're having one too, Keisha. Look forward to seeing you in Peoria at the Indie Author Book Expo too. And don't miss R&D Gaming every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central and 8 p.m. Eastern. We are still deciding what the next subject will be for the next episode. Oh, and Eric Hawkins is being mocked by Joe D. McPhee from Deso Small Press Publisher. Eric says, yep, AA's Red Rooster went to Walmart a year before Backers. The actual deal was with ReaderLink, who supplies stores to Walmarts and Targets and put the displays wherever they want in the store. Yeah, they were supposed to put them like in the book section, which is a good enough place. But there was no. I mean, I've been doing like half a dozen Walmarts since this started, and I've not seen it in the same place except maybe two of them. And in a couple places, I didn't see it at all. That they were either in the book section or they weren't in the book section. They needed to have one consistent place to have it. But I agree, just the fact that they would not discharge their obligations to their Kickstarter supporters. That's what made me say I'm not going to support the thing. And of course, I was defending my position at one point. Everybody, well, you got to support it because it means that indie creators can get their stuff into Walmart too. Not at the rate most indie creators operate at. It's not like you can get you ask for $175 on a Kickstarter because you're living on the dole, and not that there's anything wrong with that really, but you're asking for $175 and you think you're going to put your stuff next to Mother Jones magazine. That ain't happening. Anyway, from the Small Press Publisher, Deso Small Press Publisher, I don't think making comics to reflect the movies is the way. There's no guarantee that people will read comics from watching a movie. Seems like you have the opposite more so than the former. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm from a different generation and I grew up with a lot of TV and movie tie-ins. Dell and Gold Key, it's like if I was a fan of, say, Get Smart, I'd be elated to find out that Dell had a Steve Ditko Get Smart comic, or if I was a fan of, say, Tarzan, the Ron Ely series, I'd go to the store and there's Gold Key supplying me with it. And DC and Marvel have both gotten into that. Star Wars and G.I. Joe, a Real American Heroes, started at Marvel, along with the Further Adventures of Indiana Jones. DC has had things like Hot Wheels, Captain Action. If I find some media thing and I want a comic, there used to be a whole lot of them. So I can see people, especially with younger viewers of the movie, they might have said, well, I hear it's a comic book. Let's go check it out. I seriously think I think tying it closer to the movie universe is a way to go, because they can always snip that thread at any time. And good morning, my fellow Brian and Nevermorians. Mwah, to Brian Rodman. Love your profile. I'm going to make one just like it later. Have you checked out the new Russian bot profile pick app? I have, and it's super cool. I mean, they already have all our information anyway, so we might as well have some fun with it. That's what I say. And Brian put in yes, you got it. We'll get to that right away, sir. And what kind of noise does a witch's vehicle make? Broom, broom. Thank you, Ace. Love you, man. And BKMC, please send me the info for the local comic shops. Okay. I know there's 1, 2, 3 in the West Lafayette area. Let's see what we can find. And I know some amazing animators. Pedro Ng comes to mind. Look up his Tropical Magics campaign. Yeah, and I know another friend through Andy Cordy. This is something we may have to look into. And speaking of having fun, which Brian Rodman does frequently, the Nebulizer issue number 2 is live on Kickstarter. Head on over to that bit.ly address there and jump into the world of Connor and Albie, a chronic asthmatic, and his feisty AI-controlled nebulizer suit as they fight through a post-apocalyptic world filled with allergen mutants. Come see why it ain't easy being wheezy. Good stuff here, seriously. And how close are you to getting funded, sir? I crave to know. Anyway, I know the Walmarts I've been to have had the same comic book issues for months. Haven't seen many sold and nothing new. Yeah, I think they all stopped at like issue 3 or something like that. And even then they weren't coming in regularly. No, that's a mess. That's a mess. And again, because they refuse to honor their commitment to their Kickstarter people, I refuse to support them. Red Rooster was split into 3 issues for Walmart. The last issue wasn't even finished. The colors, this is from Eric Hawkins, the colors were done over the roughs. They folded on the deal with Reader Link as well, being late to them too. Gee, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? I wonder if that could have been a model for a certain something, Eric. And Nick Tucker says cross-marketing and merch is the next goal after initial production and sales. Excellent planning, sir. Excellent. And Brian Robbins says when it comes to making comics for movies and vice versa, I say whatever gets the story you want to tell in front of the people who need to read it. Exactly right, man. And, also, it's the same reason as I was explaining to somebody I'm going to be publishing in a few months. They don't like ebooks, but I put my foot down and say, we're going to have an ebook version. It won't have the graphics in it because that screws up your formatting something fierce. I said, but we are going to have an electronic version of your book. And he's like, well, I hate ebooks and the Russians are going to, just bootleg it anyway. And I said, that's the point. They're going to bootleg it anyway. We can't stop it. Also, somebody could buy a physical copy, run the spine through like a saw, a saw blade, and just scan the pages. It just takes a few minutes, and they've got your book online anyway. So what's the difference? You might as well make a few coins off of it. And people do. There are a certain percentage of people, whether you like it or not, that prefer electronic publishing. And you can tell me all about, it doesn't have the same feel, it doesn't smell the same. Nobody has ever reviewed a book and said, hey, this book is heavy. This book is really heavy. I give it 5 stars for being dense. Or they don't say, this book smells so wonderful. I mean, give unto me the break. And Glenn says, I've been waiting for this. Brian, is my Kirby book spine worth your attention? Sarah, pay attention. Right behind the ear there. How's that? Anyway, it'll probably still be moist when you see me next. Anyway, hope you like that, Glenn. That could be your new promo. And from the Small Price Publisher, G.I. Joe started as a comic before the cartoon series. Marvel used animation to promote the comic, which was first in ways. Gosh, I know too much about a real American Hero series. Well, it's true, and they also used it as their character R&D, too. But the thing is, they had the comic, and the two were fairly in lock sync with each other. So, so yeah, I honestly, seriously, I'd love to see more comics make it to animation, because I remember back in the 90s, I remember watching Wildcats, and I enjoyed that a lot, and Savage Dragon. Spawn cartoon was pretty good, but it's like, why not have that synergy? Why not have it? And if the properties are different in conception, why not have a version that the people who watch it can have too? I mean, Smallville did peter out after a while, but they lasted about 10 issues, or they lasted a good long time as a web comic too. They got like something like 16 seasons out. Or no, they did the regular Smallville comic with my friend Mark Verheiden on the scripting. He was the script editor on the show for a number of years. And then they did Smallville seasons 11 through 16, I think it is, in digital form. And it made people happy. And yeah, the sales are going to peter out after a while, but that's just the way of things. And we are a little less than $400 away from hitting our initial goal. We got to make this happen. Please support the Nebulizer #2. I want to read that. It's weird we had animated ads for specific issues before the 5-episode pilot came out. That's because they were working together for once. So, and like in Comic Shang-Chi now has the 10 rings. Sam is Captain America again, and Jane Foster is going to be Thor again. I think it's a good move. I agree. I totally agree. And if the movies have to move a little closer to the comics, that doesn't hurt them either. Nick Tucker says, I figure you want what folks have. You got to do what they do. Look at Lucas. Exactly, Nick. He's supplying the need. He's feeding the beast. And Eric Hawkins, I've often said how wonderful a comic smells. Well, that's you, man. That is just you. That's why and we're going to obligate you now to reporting on the smell and heft of a comic now on Comic Book Spectrum every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Check us out with Eric, the spiteful Eric Hawkins, myself, Clyde Hall, Brian Rahman, and Joe D. McPhee. Bunch of guys talking comics on a Thursday night. It's great stuff. And I mean, I rate my books on scent and heft alone. That's why you put them in plastic bags, right? So the smell doesn't get out. And did Brain stop drinking coffee? No, I just did not have time to brew a fresh pot, but I'll take care of that because I've got a little time. Like I said, I've got to stop this show at the top of the hour so I can, in case I get a call from the air conditioning people, then I have to kill it sooner. But anyway, no, Brain didn't stop drinking coffee. Brain loves coffee. I'm glad you like it, Glenn. That was for you, my friend. And I miss the old G.I. Joe commercials for the comic book. Yeah, that's another issue, too. Why don't more comic companies do book trailers? I mean, they do it for their Kickstarters. But I was talking to somebody about doing a show rating comic book trailers. It's like people do it for their Kickstarters. I hate long comic book trailers. And I also don't want to hear that it's taking you 20 years to get your book out, because that means I'm going to be dead before you get the second issue out. I don't want to hear that it's close to your heart, because otherwise you wouldn't be doing it. I don't want to hear any of the old cliches that all of or not all, but a great many of the comic book books, but trailers on Kickstarter tend to use. And it's like, if you tell me this is a great book, here's why, here's the hook, here's what makes it different, here's what makes it somewhat familiar to you, that's what I want to see. I don't want to hear about how it's you've been wanting to tell this story since you were in vitro. But anyway, Radio Retro Future makes me wonder if these people still eat crayons as well. Probably do. It's like these paint chips don't taste as lead-like as the other ones I used to have. John Pica, excuse me, I've been preaching for years that when fans love the movie but go to the comic and the comic version looks nothing like what they saw on screen, they walk away. And man, yeah, seriously. And I always think of it as like when Star Wars, the Star Wars comic came out, the original one, it kind of fed my fuel. It was the fuel that fed my fire for more Star Wars. And I wanted to see where the comic was going and how it would work out in relation to the next film. For instance, they had a different Jabba the Hutt. The original comics actually told how Darth Vader found out it was Luke that did it, that blew up the Death Star. In fact, that was a really great story sequence, I thought, from Archie Goodwin with Carmine Infantino, and I want to say Terry Austin. But anyway, it was really great where Darth Vader was hunting down the man who shot the fatal shot into the Death Star. And I think he wound up hiring a mercenary, kind of like Boba Fett. And the guy started talking to Luke, who was saying, if we don't succeed, you guys are going to be under Vader's thumb forever. And how long do you think you get to operate if you start to get too influential? And the guy basically sacrificed himself to buy Luke time to get away. But, in the process, he tells him, the guy is after you. His name's Luke Skywalker. He's going to bring you down. You just learn that name and learn to fear it. So it's like, there were some great stories back then, seeing how the comic had to tell new stories, but kind of spin its wheels in a way because they didn't want to violate anything that was coming out with the next movie. So yeah, I agree. I agree with John completely. I mean, why can't these things be used as feeding the fever for more of the same stuff? Sarah says, and just took 5 screenshots to make sure I got a good one. That's for you, Sarah. That's for you, Sarah. Wait till we have SarahCon again. I'm telling you. And thanks for grabbing my attention. Perfect. I couldn't do it without you, darling. And Jody McPhee chuckles at Sarah. And Glenn says, just had a brainwave. Let's see Dr. Don Blake as Thor, just like Stan and Jack did. The reason the Hollywood guys bought the damn thing. Result. Hashtag result. I agree. And I love that old aspect of the dual identity and the danger of, and I think it was just genius because Don Blake had the problem. What if he's separated from the cane? Okay. It's kind of like putting a piece of tape over Billy Batson's mouth. What if he's separated from the cane and cannot change into Thor? By the same token, what if Thor throws his hammer and can't get it back within 60 seconds? He turns back to Blake. It's like, I thought that that added a little something to the book. And that's one thing when J. Michael Straczynski did that 12-issue series of Thor a few years ago, where basically Thor, they rebuilt Asgard, but in like Kansas or whatever, or Arkansas, whatever. And they brought Don Blake back. Yes, about time. So anyway, Pops Van Zandt, hey, yo, good Never Morning. 2 weeks left on that Indiegogo anthology there. Please go give it a fresh look. Pops is adding to that thing all the time. Enter the Cromniverse. You'll be glad you did. And let's see, hold on a second. We just had our first comic dump in ages. That was fun. Anyway, Brian Permisson, thank you for sharing this, brother. Much appreciated. And Brian Robbins, so seriously, Evil Dead 4, I mean, Doctor Strange 2 is so good. Honestly, it's my personal favorite MCU movie. Yeah, and I heard, what is it? Spoiler alert. John Krasinski, sheer genius. Perfect casting. Anyway, Ryan Permisson says, good morning, Never Mornings. How are you? Follow me here on Ryan, and I quote, to keep up with this podcast and stuff. And Brian Rodman continues, and Doctor Strange 2 got me thinking, whenever they do reboot Hellboy again, Sam Raimi would be a wonderful choice. Sam Raimi can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. He's great. And Pops Van Zandt, I got dragged into your world kicking and screaming. It'd be nice to reach a funding goal. Pops, you threw yourself across the border willingly, man. So we will help. Yes, definitely check out Pops. We posted the thing for it earlier. Check out Pops Crom comic coming out soon. Great talent, including Cindy Kep is doing stuff for it. So, in case you missed it, check out the latest episode of And I Quote with Ocean City Comic Con owner James Dufendick. And I apologize to James for butchering his name either way. But anyway, check that show out. It's good stuff. Along with, check out the interview with comic writer, editor Paul Kupperberg. I can vouch, that was a great episode. I was actually home and I got to watch it live. Eric Hawkins says, I'm pulling an EBS and launching Zombieful World in 5 and 6 next week and a Toyland the week after. Then I might think about sending the books out in a few years. Yeah, but you have to keep promising, oh, I'm going to make it worth your wait. I'm going to make it better. I'm going to make it a lot better. It's like I'm drawing my Naked Flintstones, but you just keep waiting around because I'm going to make it better. And Rick Riley says, yes, Brian Robin, I loved Evil Dead 4, Doctor Strange 2 as well. And it was Boba Fett, not the kind of like Boba Fett. No, it wasn't. Not in the comic I read. And check out our interview with fiction writer Arrow J. Knight on Ryan Permisson's And I Quote. And if you want to be a guest on And I Quote, they're live Saturdays at noon, but they can pre-record if you'd like. They have all kinds of great conversation, and you get a chance to promote your stuff. So go to that Calendly address and check them out. John, that is a problem. That is a two-way street, says from Deso Small Press Publisher. Think of those who read comics like V for Vendetta or The Spirit, where people can say the movie didn't follow source material of the comic. So they can. But at least they've got it. They've got a tangible something to go with it. And and I think those are kind of anomalies in a way. That and most of Alan Moore's output, it's like you do the movie and you're done. But there are a lot of other shows, like a Marvel Universe is a different kind of beast, I think, where you have an ongoing movie presence and you've got the raw material in the comics where you can basically keep people interested and show them like background material, make the characters more in depth for them, and kind of segue them into the past issues of Marvel through trade paperbacks and stuff. See, that's what I'm thinking. And Nick Tucker says, Radio Retro Future, when you want to set up animation for the Association of Ishtar, talk to Pedro Eng. He knows a lot of South American animators. Oh, very cool. And we are grateful for you being in this community, and we're glad to help support you, Ryan. You do the same for us, and have a safe and productive day, everyone. You too, Ryan. Have a good one. Rick Riley waiting for Brian to release a video compilation of all the spine looking. I think Sarah runs it late at night when she's lonely. But anyway, she's never lonely. She's got me. She's got me to text. Anyway, I love it. But anyway, from the Small Private Publisher, you can't place one fandom over the other. It has to be balanced, since comic storytelling and movie storytelling are different, and fans will know that each is not there. Yeah, that's true, but you don't. I don't think most people pick up a comic book expecting cinematic type storytelling, but I think there are stories you can tell within those universes that will keep people interested and intrigued, and at the same time, since the studios don't go into a lot of detail about the character's past from necessity, from a time's point of view, then this is Marvel's chance, like I said, to get them reading other things. You know, it's like, oh, hey, did you like Malekith? Well, we've got this Walt Simonson trade paperback you can pick up through your local comic shop or from Amazon. See? And Grant Lankard says, wanted to tell you guys about Free Comic Book Day. It was awesome. Owner of a comic shop let me sit in and sell comics. It was a small store, but it had awesome clientele, and he sold a ton of copies. That's what I love to hear, Grant. Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. And good morning from Joe Bachman. Good morning, folks. Figured I'd stop in for my last live viewing of NTF for a while. Going to be starting midnight tomorrow night. Joe, good luck, brother. And thank you for keeping the roads healthy for all of us that drive through Northwest Indiana, man. You take care. And you know you're always welcome back, my friend. And they owe us a third in the Perlman Hellboy movies. Nick, I couldn't agree more. And yes, I couldn't agree more. You will be Miss Joe. Seriously. And Sarah, on motivational posts that I share. There we go. Brian Robin says, so here's a lesson in expanding your collaborative muscles. Since Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange came out, Evil Dead sales have skyrocketed. If you want people to pick up your passion project, go out and do some work with others. Yes. Once they see your style in this other work, they'll come back to the project that means so much to you. Totally agree. I'll give you a great example, although you'll all wince when I say what it was. The New 52 from DC, 12 years ago. Sales on all comics went up. All right. It wasn't just DC's select few. It wasn't just Justice League, Superman Action, Batman, etc. It was Amazing Spider-Man. It was Hellboy. It was because people would go in the shop because they heard about the New 52 and what they're doing to the DC characters that they grew up with. And, this Hellboy looks interesting. Oh, wait a minute. I never knew that there was a Hellboy comic. Let me take that home. You see what I'm saying? Spawn, they did a movie of that. Let me get that. See what the comic is all about, right? So I agree, Brian. I agree. And it's a great, and I collaborate also, so that my fandom can see what other people are up to and vice versa. So, excuse me, John B. Pica says, Joe D, I get the respect for the source material, but the fact is you are dealing with a niche market where the average comic sells only 5,000 to 15,000 copies. A bestseller is 35,000. A movie audience is in the millions. John, I agree. I have said for years that more people will see a failed movie than will go read one of the greatest comic books. I really do. I think there's probably more people that have. I would wager there's probably more people that have seen things like From Hell or the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen than read the original source material, even if you put all the sequels back that Alan Moore worked on. But yeah, and we have to figure also that we're getting the characters out in front of other people. Why not? And why not have a movie version? And why not reflect that movie version in some, at least some comics, so that people might say, oh, I love this show. Let me see what the comic book's about. A perfect example, says Brian Roman. I walked Doctor Strange 2, then picked up the collector box groovy edition of the Evil Dead versus Ash versus Evil Dead series. See? John B. Pica says, you cannot ignore the power of the bigger audience to please the niche fandom. Yeah. Which is one of the things I fear, because a couple, like the Spider-Man Doctor Strange, sound like a little bit is trying to please the comic fan. And the thing is, comics are doing better than they have in a long time. But for the most part, we're still a graying, aging demographic. Our fandom is literally, it's like pulps to a degree, the old pulps. Our fandom is dying off. Natural causes, okay? Anyway, yeah, Marvel is doing a great job making the comics in step with the movies, like killing Doctor Strange a few months ago. Oh, wait, that doesn't count. And heaven in comic books has a revolving gate. It's no more serious than Superman dying or the Justice League. And continued quality is the best advertising. Nick, that should be a coffee mug. I'm telling you, brother. And as a creator, says John B. Pica, you want more people buying and reading comics, and bringing those movie fans into comics is going to float all ships. Like a rising tide, would you say, John? Anyway, Brian Robin says, well, let's get you out on time, Ofez one. Thank you, brother. Thanks for this morning, Brian. Have fun, be safe, and don't do drugs. But if you do, call Eric Hawkins, shake your cookie home, and laugh like the Shadow. Who knows what pulps lurk at the Windy City Pulp and Paper Convention? Brian learned. What am I laughing for? Wait a minute. I need some more pulps. Bye-bye. Anyway, thank you, Brian. And let's everybody keep on that nebulizer. And if you haven't pledged already, please, please pledge. It's a magnificent comic book. And not in LinkedIn a lot, but I'm hashtagging there when I am. Well, I appreciate that. And Brian, you're making the assumption on how far movie fans go to feed that need for content. Most would want in a format they are accustomed to and enjoying. But the thing is, Joe, if they find out that there are comic books that, I mean, I used to do back issue sales up till about 10 years ago. And I had more than one person. Every time I set up, even at comic shows, people would look at the stuff, my back issues, and go, oh, they're still making comics, are they? A lot of people think they come, sprung full force in graphic novels or reprints or whatever. But I'm just saying, then in that case, then let's stop making toys for them too. Because toys are an entirely different medium than movies, if you want to go that far. I agree. I respect your opinion, but I disagree with it vehemently. And I would let Eric Hawkins die to defend your position. But by ignoring TV and movie fans creates a barrier to bring in new fans. Yeah, and we've got to do all we can because, we have, 30 years ago, we had a huge market. We had outlets. We had far more outlets. We probably had 4 times the outlets that we have now to sell this stuff. And there's going to come a time, if we don't reverse this, comic shops are going to go the way of the horse and buggy whip shops. You know what I'm saying? Sarah, rising tide, because that's how we roll. Amen, darling. You got that right. And 10-minute warning, everyone, get your comments in now. Thank you, Skunk Rocker. Appreciate you, brother. And it took me about a year or two that V for Vendetta was ever in the comic book world a couple of decades prior. Yeah, Sarah, that's true. Also, a lot of the stuff that Alan Moore did, like From Hell, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Watchmen. And the closest thing we had a long time ago was the TV show and the Return of the Swamp Thing movie that reflected a lot of what Alan Moore was doing in the comics. Scott Garner, have a great day, Brian. As always, love and appreciate you and everything you do. And back at you, Skunk. I love you so much, man. You are a great, great guy. And I am so looking forward to having you check out Calgon when we come down this fall for HallowCon. I look forward to seeing you, my man. And Doctor Strange is already coming back. This is my surprise look, John. Yeah, and I got the moment I found out. There we go. And John, problem is that people overestimate the transition from movie to comic and fandom. It's more about format like comics that dying off than the possibility of possible sales. I think we've got a chance of the comic medium, at least the mainstream comic medium, being relegated to the trash bin if we don't try to do everything we can to create some synergy with other media and tie-ins. That's why John, not John, but we are doing, Joe, we are doing like more variant issues because the big guys do it and it works for them and it's working for us. We need to seize on every opportunity we can get to get people to look at our stuff. And if making the comic line more in line with the current movie or TV environment, then why the hell not? Really? And Joe D, 3 words, Star Trek novels. Thank you. Also Doctor Who novels. That kept Doctor Who fandom alive for almost 20 years. Or no, not 20, but 15 years. A little over 15 years. I'll get it over it, Brian. But the Doctor Who magazine and Doctor Who paperbacks were credited in many sources as keeping people's enthusiasm up for Doctor Who. And it was off the air by then, rarely being rerun. That and also sales of DVDs for the back episodes. It helps revive Doctor Who. So, and look at what it is now. It's like this weekend was all filled with the brand new Doctor Who. He sounds great. Ace Bonnie, if you enjoyed the show, like, share, subscribe, and tickle Brian's bell. My bell could use a good tickling. So thank you, Ace Bonnie. So follow that young man's example. And Nick Tucker is having to be an outlier in many aspects, Desk. I get the cognitive dissonance of realizing most folks have a different opinion is trying. Comics is a percentage game. Treat movies like commercials. There you go. And vice versa. Vice versa. Treat it as a marketing tool, because that's what it is. And John B. Pico, remember the new owners of DC are seriously considering ending their print business, which they've been talking about for 2 years, almost 2 years now. And at one point, and not many people realize this, I read this in some of the books on comics, like in the early 70s. In early 70s, Marvel publisher Martin Goodman wanted to stop producing new comics and just go with just recycle the reprints forever. And DC wanted to do the same thing around the time of the DC implosion. They said, we've got 30 years of comics. We'll never run out of stories because we can just keep reintroducing the old stuff to a new generation. And Marvel and DC have most of the film for that to happen. You might have to hire people to recolor some of this stuff or touch up some of the artwork. But other than that, they could get by on what they've got now. So from Decimal Press Publisher, there's too much market data on where they have sourced comics there at these movies, and some don't get it even if it is free. It's never about ignoring movie fans, but you can't force other formats. It's merchandising, basically. And Eric Hawkins says toy properties are based on cinema and comic versions separately. Hasbro produces them separately. Nick Tucker says if 1 million see the movies, then maybe a 50K will look into the comics, but it is 50K that might not without the tie-in. Well, they've got to be made aware that the tie-in exists, which again goes back to Marvel advertising, or Marvel Comics advertising. Marvel was perilously close to be Axed 2. Kevin Feige saved them by convincing Disney that print is important. John Pica is right. Glenn Fleming says comics today are where they were in the late 50s because of Wortham. They didn't disappear then. They will not now. Have faith. Agreed, Glenn, agreed. And comic fans already go to the movies, otherwise they have nothing to complain about. Movie fans rarely go to a comic shop. Integrating the story elements isn't important, says Eric Hawkins. That's a good point. And the family-friendly comics I don't want get donated to the therapy waiting rooms. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for doing that. And you don't have to tell the same stories, but they need to resemble the versions the fans recognize. Tell new stories, but sync the aesthetics at least. I agree. That's what you said it better than I ever could. And thank you, Eric Hawkins. Eric says, telling moviegoers where to find the comic that inspired the movie is what needs to be done. See, I didn't even see that. Eric is thinking like me. Pray for him. And look where Doctor Who is now. Seriously, it's rubbish. Why, think about it. Yeah, it's a rubbish show that they changed the lead actor and suddenly it makes all the news services. When Peter Capaldi was announced as the 12th Doctor, his introduction was seen in 75 different countries. So, yeah, they really screwed the pooch on that one, Glenn. And comics was saved by the Star Wars movie adaptation. Yes, John Pica is right. It's been documented that Marvel was on the verge of bankruptcy. And the Star Wars comic by Roy Thomas and Howard Chaykin basically infused the company with a lot of money. And DC isn't going anywhere. It will be around in one form or another, but whether we are seeing new material, that's going to be the issue. And, well, given my therapist to read and put in the waiting rooms, I don't think it's a good idea to set them in there without being looked at first. Sarah, that's a good idea. Thank you, sweetie. And Eric Hawkins, based on an argument, if a movie based on a novel is successful, then the author needs to alter his novel to reflect the movie. Ouch! Thank you, Eric. And Rick Bradley, I also think that comic fans need to talk about some of the stories that comics have. Kraven's Last Hunt was a crazy awesome story, but I don't see it being done in movie form yet. And that would be interesting. That would be it would have to be drastically altered, I think, as a lot of shows were. Even Lord of the Rings, even though they had a lot of the time constraints taken away by having a trilogy of movies, they still had to leave out characters and plot lines. From Destined Small Press Publisher to Eric Hawkins, also comic shops have to be better, and accommodating moviegoers is what is truly needed for natural transition to occur. And comic shops need to advertise too. Most of them are still being run like a hobby. Okay, and that honestly that annoys me. Then they whine about, well, like during the COVID, when the start of the lockdown, they had something, well, I guess I better close now. I can't open my doors. I'm going to close. You can't have comics anymore. Whether there were some dealers that were like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell people I've got comics. I'm going to send them out through the mail. I'm going to have live shows where I sell comics to people live on the air, and I'm going to keep getting whatever's available out there, and I am going to keep selling it to people. All right. That's what Comics Cubed in Kokomo, Indiana did. I'm so proud of Sean and everyone there because, they didn't say, and they're not the only ones, but, they didn't say, well, gosh, I'm going to have to do some work now, aren't I? Oh, we can't have that, and that's why I think that as much as I love comic shops, any that are too lazy to do it needs to be done deserve to fail. And when you come here again, I can move those kind of comics for you. Thank you, Sarah. And animation is the best route for many comic titles to gain interest. That's true. It's worked for DC and Marvel, right? And I bet I let Mark Midgard too when he has way too much that isn't being moved around. Oh, that's good of you, Sarah. And John B. Pica, there are 8 comic shops in Nashville, but I was only aware of 4 of them until a few weeks ago. Brian Winslow says, and check out Reels and Heels on Saturdays with this wonderful man. People need to understand that movies are the movies and comics are the comics. I consider them companion pieces. And marketing is a real problem. John, it is. Because you've got comic shops that won't advertise. You have comic companies that won't advertise unless they're talking about their Kickstarter projects. It's somebody has got to end this roadblock. And if DC, and part of what made the New 52 work was I remember seeing ads for the New 52 on cable TV. So, and Nick Tockard, when the big titles stopped drawing, the indie comics doubled down. Exactly. They said pencils down. We said hold our beer. And we know Sarah. And Glenn Fleming, that's why I'm developing Hatch as an animated film. It's the future. There you go. And if somebody came up to you and said, I want to make Hatch stuffed dolls, you're going to listen to them, aren't you? See, it's all marketing. It's all synergy. We've got to find a way to have all these things come together and work together. See, that's it. Let's continue this discussion tomorrow night on Comic Book Spectrum, okay? I think that'd be great. And marketing is very important, says Rick Radley. I mean, look at the crap that is make bank. It's because the marketing was done well and did its job. Exactly, Rick. And have a great day, guys. It was so nice being able to watch again. Grant, it was great having you, brother. And we hope you have a great day. Give our love to Angie. And John B. Pica says, despite the failure, Allegiant Arts at least tried. That's true. And they did it with quality, but they didn't have the power. Plus, they had built up a considerable amount of bad will in the independent comics market. They basically said, we want your money, but we're not going to give you anything for it. It was rising tide. The karma came back to bite them in the ass. But imagine somebody that comes in and says, okay, we're going to take the profits we made from selling the comics we made through Kickstarter, which is different than taking our Kickstarter money and turning into Walmart dollars. That's money laundering. That's illegal. But if you take a property, fund it through crowdfunding, and then take the profit from that, and then get your books into someplace like a Walmart. Anyway, and yep, it sounds like we have a topic for CBS, Joe and me versus BKM. What do you mean? I'm more on your side than I am Joe's right now. Well, everyone wants to gang up on me. Anyway, Rick Radley says, everyone take care, stay creative, and game on. You too, brother. Much love to you and the family, all right? And so, yes, we are going to have to leave right now. Marketing is just another word for propaganda. Ask that Goebbels bloke. Yeah, well, Glenn, make sure that we don't mention your Kirby book ever again. And make sure that we don't mention your comic book or your animated film when it comes again. We don't want to be spreading that propaganda now, do we? And Sarah says, I'll brainstorm about what I'm doing outside the show. Derp. Okay. Sounds good, Sarah. I love you, Glenn. Anyway, I lit your spine. What more do you want, you tramp? Anyway, with that, folks, we are going to have to leave. Seriously. And it's been announced that we are leaving. Puddles the Duck agrees with us completely. Puddles, you going to stick around and help me sell this show? Maybe, you got someplace else to go? Oh, he's back. Anyway, anyway, folks, we want to thank you all for being here and a good conversation. I wish we could stay longer. BK, I'm dropping the mic. Have a great day. Thank you, John, for helping me carry it. Anyway, please check out, we got some great stuff here coming up. We've got Zombie for World of Oz just completed their funding on Kickstarter. Congratulations to Eric Hawkins. Amazonia #7, and you can get issues 1 through 6 are coming up too. You can get that through the upcoming campaign, and on the 21st of this month, I will be helping you sell that book. All right, it's going to be a good thing. And also check out the Nebulizer on Kickstarter currently, and it is less than $400 away from fully being funded. Please, please, let's see this book make its nut here, okay? Anyway, thank you all for being here. And we got some little bit more. And Scott Ferris says, and we brought Nazis into it. Okay, time to be mediator. Everybody settle down. It's not that big a deal. It's after 11. Let's let go and Brian go, please. And Skunk Cracker, I will have a good day if you have one first, brother. I love your floofy self. And love you too, Brian. Thanks for pushing my stuff. Exactly. I don't lick just any man's spine, you know. Anyway, support our fearless leader with our propaganda, risingtide.pub. And love, hugs, and kisses to you too, Sarah. That's right, by God. I don't care if you call it propaganda. I don't care what you call it. Be sure to check us out. See, let me find it. Here we go. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong buttons here. There we go. Find me on risingtide.pub, where you can find links to my latest works. We got to get some more stuff up. I got to talk to Damien. And also our broadcast. And you can sign up for my free monthly newsletter, which will go out the first of the month. You will be entertained, and you might learn something. You never know. We got some good stuff in there. And thanks for the penalty flag, Skunk Rocker. Have a good day, all. Jody McPhee, I love you, man. I really do. And when you agree with me, I love you more. Anyway, Joe's like, what's the odds of that? Excuse me. But anyway, folks, thank you very much for being here. And we also want to thank our Patreon subscribers who all would love to have comic books made of their favorite movies. I know. But anyway, they for $1 a month, even just $1 a month, it helps this cause so much in our publishing and our broadcasting. And in return, you get a twice weekly blog, and every blog deserves a name. And $5 and more gets you a peek at works in progress. And our they will get the results of the poll, which I forgot to announce this week, although it's pretty apparent. So anyway, please check us out because we give you stuff in return for your direct financial support. So go to www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris and find out. Also go to Cindy Kep's website, CKOEPP.com, because she's amazing. And she does so much for this community, and her work is so awesome. You got to check it out. And please buy some because she does so much for us, all right? But anyway, we are also sponsored by Rising Tide Publications, who is putting out The Terrors later this year, and people are excited. I told people about it at Windy City, and everyone went, ooh, when's that coming out? It's going to be good. So anyway, please check that out on risingtide.pub, and be sure to check out plasmafiregraphics.com when the look of your book matters to you. And we are going to have to forego the post-show ads because I got to get downstairs and wait. But anyway, also please check us out on Amazon. We've got some new releases like Major Marjorie. If you like 1940s sci-fi, this is the book for you. And the award-winning Snow Shorts with the award-winning Snow Ambition by myself inside this book. So please check them out on Amazon. You'll be glad you did. I'll be glad you did. And so will Bobby Nash and Tim Bruckner. So anyway, folks, thank you again for being here. Appreciate you all. Thank you for the lively discussion this morning. Let's continue that tomorrow night on Comic Book Spectrum with more zombies. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. with Eric Hawkins, Clyde Hall, Brian Rahman, Joe D. McPhee, and myself. We're going to review the latest comics and talk about the industry. And I think this would make a great subject for discussion. And we welcome your input on that. And as always, folks, thank you again for being here. We will see you Friday morning. We'll see you tomorrow night on Comic Book Spectrum, and we'll see you Friday morning again at 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe to the show. And as always, stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. Have a great hump day. Get to your comic shop today, and we'll see you Friday on another Nevermind Furthermore. Mwah! Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Nevermind the Furthermore, a Rising Tide broadcast network production. If you enjoyed any part of this show, please give it a like or a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and consider becoming one of our Patreon supporters. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on Nevermind the Furthermore.
From author Brian K. Morris comes an epic tale of armor forged by a god, a hero forged by courage, and an ancient menace poised to re-emerge and threaten our world. Volcana, Rebirth of the Champion, is available on Amazon.com. Get your copy today. From author Brian K. Morris comes a classic hero in a high-flying, fast-paced, and action-packed steampunk adventure. The original Skyman battles the Master of Steam with an introduction by comics icon and historian Roy Thomas. A Rising Tide and Ace Comics publication. Available now in print or digital format on Amazon.com.